Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, episode number 132. My name is Anisha, for those of you who don't know me, and I basically help women to live in alignment with what matters most to them so that they can have a deeply fulfilling life. And apart from being an aligned life coach, I'm also a mindfulness meditation teacher and I have a background in psychology. So, this is a little bit about me. And I would love to know about you, who all are here, where are you from, and is this your first time? Hi, Caitlin, welcome. So happy to have you here. I just feel, immensely happy that, when I open this live, I see your face. It means a lot. Okay, so anyone else who would like to say a hi? Feel free to drop in because that is my only way to feel your presence here. So, yeah, drop in a hi if you want to do that. Hello, Cherry Joe. Happy to have you here back again. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Cherry Joe says familiar faces. Yeah, indeed. Caitlin is joining us from New York, and I have been waiting to hang out, lol. Okay, then I really hope that something beautiful comes up for you today. Okay. So, um, I do see some new people here as well. So, for the sake of it, I will, share an overview of this live, as in what we do here. So, everyone has a little bit of idea. So we usually start these lives with a meditation that is based upon the quote which you might have seen when you opened this app of Insight Timer. So we meditate upon the wisdom that is right in front of us and soak it in. And then we move on to the next part once we, are more open, once our vibrations has been raised. We move on to the next part where we receive that higher wisdom. We receive those messages that we need to hear most at this point in our life. And we do so by spinning a wheel of wisdom. And this wheel randomly selects a book for us, whatever the universe, God, divine spirit, source, angels, and sisters wants to send our way. And we open the book, we play a game where I ask you guys to choose a number, and then, we pick a passage based on that. So I will share more details when we get to each part. But for right now, I would love to know that are you guys ready for a meditation? Are you settled in a quiet place or wherever you would like to meditate? And if so, you can type ready in the comments and then we will begin with this live. And if you cannot type, you can simply press the heart somewhere here to let me know, and then we will begin with the meditation. So, I get to know that you are settled now. Caitlin says, lightning incense, quick but ready. Okay, yeah, take your time. And I'm glad that you're creating that atmosphere and that space for you to, tune within. Okay, so we have a heart as well. Okay, now let's begin then. So begin by coming into a comfortable position. You can choose to sit up or lie down, whatever your body needs right now. Lengthening your spine, dropping your shoulders away from your ears, resting your hands in your lap or on your knees. And as you begin to settle into this posture, allow your eyes to close, or alternatively, you can lower your gaze. As you turn away from the world around you and bring your attention inward, become aware of the breath flowing in and out of your nose. Noticing the natural rhythm of your breath. Let each breath bring you closer to this moment, not the one you were in yesterday, not the one you are waiting for tomorrow, but this one right here. And as you arrive in this moment, allow yourself to think about anything that has preoccupied your mind lately, something that is troubling you or causing distress in your life. And as you begin to think about all the details of the situation, the ones that are most challenging for you, the ones that are keeping you up at night. So, as you think about all the different things about this situation that are problematic for you, that is not how you want it. Ask yourself this question: what story am I telling myself about this situation? These can be stories about who you are, like you are not enough, you are weak, you are sensitive, or it can be about what you can and cannot do. Like, I can't ever succeed, that I can't do this, it is too hard, it is too late. It can be stories about how you think other people sees you, or these can be stories about what you should do or shouldn't do, what you should have done in that situation, what you shouldn't have said in that situation, how you are procrastinating and not doing that task, how you are inconsistent, or these can be stories about the future, like what if it doesn't work out? What if I mess up? What if this changes everything? So, for the next few moments, become aware of all the stories that have been going on in your mind in relation to the situation. Notice if there is a dominant story that keeps you occupied most of the times. A story that you have been telling yourself, not just in this situation, but in every difficult situation you have faced in the past few years. A story about yourself or other people or life. Remember, you don't need to believe this story, and neither you need to push away or fight this story. Simply see it unfold like you are sitting in a movie theater and the story, this mental movie, is playing on the screen in front of you. when this story plays, it makes you feel all those different emotions like sadness, anger, insecurity, disappointment, or whatever emotion comes up for you. And see if you can name the story. For example, okay, this is the story of things going wrong, or this is the story of me not being enough, or this is the story of me falling behind. So give this story, this movie, a title. Remember as you are sitting in the seat of consciousness within the movie theater, you do not have to get rid of the story. You do not have to replace it. You only need to recognize it, to see it, and notice how awareness itself begins to soften this story, like sunlight melting the snow. This awareness is like a light. It doesn't judge what it sees, it simply illuminates what is already here, and what is seen no longer runs your life in the dark. So, can you feel a space that is being created as you become aware of this story? There is a you that is witnessing or seeing this story unfold. And there is this story that is playing on the screen. And it is your choice whether you want to be influenced by it, whether you want to be affected by it in the form of how you feel, or what you end up doing after watching that story, after watching that movie. If you need more support, then you can also repeat to yourself that I am not this story. I am here witnessing it. I am the awareness in which the story arises, unfolds, and fades away. I am the one watching this movie created by my mind, and it is my choice to let it affect me or to let it flow by me. I am unaffected by anything my mind tells me because I am the witness. I am the awareness that witnesses, that hears, that sees everything that mind creates. And now, as we reach the end of this meditation, allow yourself to take a breath in, and with the exhale, letting go of this story and this whole visualization. Knowing that you are the awareness in which everything unfolds and fades away. And now I invite you to come back to your body. Begin to wake it up by wiggling your fingers and your toes, moving your body in whatever manner it wants to be moved. And connecting back to your surroundings by feeling the air touching your skin, noticing the sounds around you, and whenever you feel ready to come back, gently opening your eyes. Welcome back to this space. The quote that we meditated upon today is has been given by John Kabat-Zinn, and the quote says, "Awareness is the key. Do we see the stories that we are telling ourselves? if you feel called to, you can share your experience of the meditation in the comments. And if you don't feel like typing yet, you can simply press the heart to let me know that it resonated with you. Okay, so now we are going to move on to the next part of this live. But before I do so, I wanted to share that in case anyone new joined us while we were meditating, and in case you missed the meditation, I will share towards the end of this live where you can find this meditation that we did today. So, let me show you guys the wheel of wisdom. So, this is our wheel of wisdom, and this wheel contains the name of over 50 books now. I have added like a lot of new books here. So, these are those transformational books that I have came across in my own journey of healing and personal growth. And now that we are more open, more centered, and more aligned with the divine, we are going to move to, spinning this wheel and choosing a book for us that the universe, God, divine, spirit, life, source wants to send our way to receive that very message that we most need to hear right now. So, for that, for us to receive that very message, I invite you guys to take a moment and, bring to your mind anything specific that you would like to receive some guidance on. It can be a specific issue of your life, that you're facing in your life, a challenge, a specific area of your life. So take a moment to ask yourself, what do I need some guidance regarding? And if there is nothing specific, then simply set an intention that may I be open to receive some guidance for my highest good. And once you have thought of something, you can let me know by typing ready in the comments. And then we will spin the wheel and choose a book for all of us. I see that someone, new just joined us. So to repeat the instruction, I invite you all to, you know, ask yourself, what would I like to receive some guidance regarding? Or set an intention to receive something of your highest good. And once you have thought of something, let me know by typing ready in the comments, and then we will spin the wheel. Thank you, Maureen, for letting me know. So, I'm assuming that you guys might have thought of something by now. And now I invite you guys to hold that in your awareness as we are going to spin the wheel. Caitlin shares her intention, which is to be open to whatever wisdom Spirit has for the highest good of myself as part of the collective. Love that. Okay. So may you all receive whatever it is that you're looking for, and holding that intention in your mind. So, the book that came for all of us here is The Mindfulness Solution: Everyday Practices for Everyday Problems by Ronald D. Siegel. So, let's see what is the mindfulness solution that wants to come our way. Give me a second to open the book. And now I'm going to just choose some numbers so that we can play a game. Okay. So, my dear ones, now the instruction for this game is that in a moment I am going to ask you guys to choose a number between certain numbers, okay? And I do not want you guys to rush at all. Instead, take your time and see which number is coming up for you. And then share that number in the comments, okay? And then I will go through all your numbers and pick a number that my intuition is feeling called to. So, in this way, we will get to tap into that collective wisdom. So, each and every one of us receives what we need to hear most right now. So, the numbers between which I invite you guys to choose are 18 to 300. Here you go. Thank you, Beatrice. Thank you, Maureen. Anyone else who would like to share a number? Okay. Thank you, Caitlin. So let's go with the three numbers that we got here. Let's see which number is coming up for me. Okay, so the number that I'm feeling most called to is 288, and the number has been chosen by Caitlin for all of us. Yeah, it was just three numbers, but that's okay, People are warming up, new people are joining. So, yeah, I like these slow days as well. So, let's go with page number 288 and see what wants to come through. Okay. Okay, yeah, the range was big as well. Exactly. Okay, let's see. So, there is like a practice that came up, and so this is the practice name is urge surfing, and it is usually used for cravings, those urges when we feel like engaging in something unhealthy, engaging in those habits that we are trying to quit. So we can use this particular technique when we are feeling that urge to do that thing that we shouldn't do, that we are trying to quit. Okay. So the so let me read out the practice for you guys. So the author says the practice starts with closing your eyes and feeling the urge to use a substance arising in your body. So feel that urge to do that thing. It can be consuming any particular substance, it can be food, it can be, all those substances, and it can even be, engaging in, scrolling late at night. So any kind of urge. So feel that urge within your body and notice it, like where do you feel this urge within that body? Okay, so that is the first step, to notice where do you feel this urge within your body. And the author says your breath will be your surfboard, allowing you to ride the wave without being wiped out. So visualize the craving as a wave in the ocean. Notice how it begins as a small wavelet that builds and builds until it creates. Use your breath to ride the wave. Don't worry, as long as you stay with the breath, you won't be overwhelmed. Allow each wave to rise up as high as it wants. Ride each one until it peters out near the shore. So basically, whenever an urge or any emotion that arises for us, it is like a form of a wave, in an ocean. So what happens is slowly it starts to arise. We encounter a cue, a trigger that sparked that urge within our body. And when we, are with that, when we, instead of trying to ignore it, when we notice this whole period, this whole cycle, we notice that what happens is the urge usually starts to begin. It is very, subtle at that point. It builds and builds and builds. For example, if you have a craving for eating your favorite food, now that I mention it, you might think about it. You might think of the last time you ate it. You might think about the things that you like about it. You might feel the saliva building and maybe an urge, building to eat that. Or maybe not right now because I'm not describing it very visually. But that's how it starts. And then, usually it starts to build up. It gains more and more and more and more energy, support, and everything. And there is a point where that urge is really, really strong. It is like your body, your mind is screaming at you to just go and do it, go and eat it, go and have that particular thing that you're feeling that urge for. And there is that point. But if you stay longer without acting upon that urge, without giving in to that urge, without giving in to that pressure, then it will eventually fade away. That energy, this that whatever is building up, it will eventually go away because your body cannot be in this heightened state for a long time. It is going to fade away, and it doesn't take a lot of hours for that to happen. It can happen within a few minutes as well. So so there is this technique when you're feeling this urge to do something that you really shouldn't. There is this technique to delay it, like to say to yourself that I won't do it for the next 1 minute, and maybe I will do it after that, but not for the next 1 minute. And that's how you're learning to, you're learning this tendency, this capacity to be with this unpleasantness, to be with that urge. And if it is, a support for that period can be your breath. So you can either, divert your attention and rest it on your breath, or if it again and again pulls your attention to that sensation of urge within your body, then you can actually notice, where do I feel this urge? And breathe with it, as in you can imagine breathing into that part of your body and breathing out of that part of your body. And when you take deep and long breaths, you will notice that you are able to handle this urge, no matter how small how large it feels, no matter how overwhelming it feels. And you can start with delaying that particular habit of yours by 1 minute. So if you're feeling like, picking your phone and scrolling, or picking that processed food and just shoving it in your body, then say to yourself that, okay, I will wait for 1 minute. I will not do this particular action for 1 minute. And use your breath to, as an anchor, use your breath as a support for that time when you delay it. And in this way, you will build your capacity. And when that 1 minute is over, you can even say to yourself that, okay, I will try to delay it for 1 more minute. And when you delay it for maybe, 2, 3, 4 minutes, you will notice that the urge naturally fades away, that you are no longer feeling that high intensity of that urge. And if it doesn't, then maybe there is something that you are needing. So you can address that particular need in a more healthy way. I'm not sure how much it resonated with you, Caitlin, or anyone else. But if it did, if this is what you're struggling with, and you needed to learn this new skill, then you can let me know in the comments, or if something else is coming up for you as I shared this reading, then you can mention that as well. Hello, Zainab. Welcome back. I am so happy to see you here again. And we just talked about, how to deal with the urge, the cravings, the, like when you don't want to do an unhealthy habit, but you're feeling called to do that. There's this, not called, but yeah, you're feeling that urge or impulse to do that. So, how to deal with all of that? Oh, that is so sweet of you. Okay, so now let's move on to the next reading for today and see what wants to come through. Okay, so we have a share from Caitlin, whose number we chose. So Caitlin says, relevant on many levels as of recently, especially in the early morning and afternoon crash time. A great reminder. I am so glad that it resonated with what you are feeling in those early mornings or afternoons. I get that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I hope that you would give it a try, maybe, today or tomorrow, whenever it feels right for you or whenever that arises. Okay. So now, anyone new who joined us, I invite you guys. Caitlin says, yes, I like the time game. Exactly. And it is like, and we'll not have to say to ourselves that I would not act on it for the next 5 minutes. It is too much for us. So, yeah, just starting small. And I'm glad that you like it because it is in a game manner, challenging ourselves to see our own capability that we doubted before. So, it also changes that. It builds self trust, it builds, that capacity and a lot of things. So, yeah, I'm glad you liked it. And I'm feeling like you will try it. Okay. So, before we spin the wheel, for the ones who just joined us, take a moment to think about what you need guidance on today and bring that and hold that in your mind as we spin this wheel. Zainab says, I tried that last night as we did talked about it last week and it also worked. Oh, I am so happy to hear that, Zainab, because I know you're working towards, those healthy habits and everything. So it is so, so amazing that it worked, and it does work. And when it does, it makes us kind of believe in ourselves that, yeah, I can do it. So thank you for sharing that. It really, means a lot. And yeah, we did talked about it some lives ago. Okay, so what happened was Zainab ordered half a dozen cookies at 10 p.m. on Uber Eats. Okay. And then what you did, what did you do, Zainab? Okay, almost. Okay. Yeah, that is the important word I overlooked. Okay, then good job, Zainab. I am so happy that you were able to resist that urge. You waited for 2 minutes and the urge went away. Oh my goodness. Thank you for sharing that practical example from your life because I'm sure that this is going to give other people hope to give this a try and see if it works for them. And it does. Okay. Hmm. Lovely shares, and I love that. Okay. So now, time to move on to the next reading, the second reading for today. So, bring to your mind anything you need guidance on as we spin the wheel. Okay, Caitlin has the same intention as before. And the book that came up for us today is Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. So let's have a conversation with God or whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's see. This is actually one of the recent book that I read, I guess a few months ago, and I really liked it. The perspective and everything. So yeah, let's see what will come out from this book today. So it's like the background is that this author was at a really low point in his life and he sat down with yellow pages at around I think 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. And then he heard a voice and he write a very angry letter to God, and then he heard a voice and there is this communication from there on with him between him and the entity that calls itself God. Okay, so give me a second to choose some numbers and see what wants to come through. Caitlin says, oh, this sounds juicy. Okay. Hmm. So, my dear ones, I invite you guys to choose a number between 15 to 180. Here you go. Okay. Thank you, Maureen, Zainab, Caitlin. Anyone else who would like to share a number? Okay. Today we are getting three numbers just. Okay. So let's see which number am I feeling called to now. So the number that I'm feeling most called to is 78, and the number has been chosen by Zainab for all of us. Thank you, Zainab. Okay, let's see what wants to come through page 78. Oh, I'm just trying to find the starting of this. Mm, So the author says, or I think, yeah, this part is where God says, because you are no longer concerned with the acceptance or approval of the world, You are no longer satisfied with what that has brought you. You are no longer pleased with what it has given others. You want the pain to stop, the suffering to stop, the illusion to end. You have had enough of this world as it is presently. You seek a newer world. Seek it no longer. Now call it forth. So the author says, can you help me understand this better? How to do that? How to, s- seek a better world? So the author says, go first to your highest thought about yourself. Imagine the you that you would be if you lived that thought every day. So think about the highest thought that you can have about yourself, or maybe like what you would like to believe about yourself. How would you like to see yourself? Think about, that version of you that you want yourself to become, the highest, the best version of yourself. And then imagine the you that you would be if you lived that thought every day. So once you have that clarity as to who I want to become, what is the highest, best version of myself, then for a moment imagine what it would be like if you lived each day, every single day, in alignment with that, in terms of moving closer to that, to bringing that version of you in whatever little manner that you can in your day to day, in your day tomorrow. Imagine what you would think, do, and say, and how you would respond to what others do and say. So, yeah, just go to the very specifics. For example, whatever is going on in your life right now, whatever is going to happen today, whatever it is that you have to do today, whoever it is that you have to meet today. So, imagine every single morning if you were like, what would the highest version of myself, what would the best version of myself do? How would it do these tasks? What it would say to those people, how it would interact with them? What would I think about myself? What would I say to myself when I when I face an obstacle, when I make a mistake? And then do that. And that is how you can let go of the world that you know as it is and create a newer world for yourself. Then I've says, what a beautiful message. I am glad that it touched you. And this is something that really aligns with me as well, because with every single client that I see, I ask them to have that clarity first and then to live it now. Do not wait for it to happen, for everything to align perfectly, but start living it today. So yeah, and that is the key to fulfillment, not something that you're going to have or do or achieve in the future. And if you actually, and I have like a very mini course regarding that. If you want more on that particular mindset, which says how to stop chasing and start living. So, yeah, you can check it out if you're interested. And let's see, we have time for one more reading. So, I invite you guys to take a moment and think about what else do you need guidance on today? Because some new people have joined us. So ask yourself, what would I like to receive guidance on today? And once you have that clarity, hold that in your mind as we spin the wheel. Okay, this book came up again for us. It was also, there in the previous live. And the book that came up for all of us is Oneness with Life by Eckhart Tolle. So let's see what wants to come through this one. I'm just going to take a moment to, open the book and to also choose some numbers so that we can play the game. Okay, let's see. So now I invite you guys to take a moment and choose a number between 12 to 45. Again, no rush, Take your time and share the number that you're feeling called to. I will anyway choose a number randomly. Caitlin says, I equated it to be the change and also shine on. Love the addition. And yeah, be the change sums it up. Beautiful. um, Thank you, Caitlin, for sharing that number. Anyone else who wants to share a number, feel free to do so. And if you guys, have found anything valuable in this live up until now, you are welcome to make a donation to help me keep these lives going and to help me, create more free resources. I have, created a lot of free resources like I guess over 100 meditations and some other free gifts that I offer. So your contribution helped me support that. So yeah, if you feel called to, you can make a donation. And if not, then that's perfectly all right. So yeah, anyone else who would like to share a number? Because it is just one number, then we would have a clear winner. Okay, thank you, Zaina. So the two people whose number I have chosen up until now have shared their number. Anyone else who would like to play a game? Okay, thank you, Jessica. Okay, again, we have three numbers. So let's see which amongst these I feel called to. Okay, so my logical as well as my intuitive, part is aligning because I was like, okay, it should be Jessica now because we haven't chosen, your number. And my intuition also says 36. So yeah, let's go with that. Thank you, Jessica, for sharing that number. And let's see what is on page number 36. So, the heading for this chapter is Becoming Present. Hmm. So, let me see where is the start. So, the author says only presence can free you of the ego, and you can only be present now, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Only presence can undo the past in you. meaning you can address it, deal with it, heal it, meet it right now, here, and thus transform your state of consciousness. So be alert. If there is awareness in you, you will be able to recognize the voice in your head for what it is, an old thought conditioned by the past. If there is awareness in you, you no longer need to believe in every thought you think. It's an old thought, no more. Awareness means presence, and only presence can dissolve the unconscious past in you. What in Zen is called Satori is a moment of presence. Exactly, Gabriel. I was thinking that it wonderfully goes with the quote and the meditation that we did on that. So it is a pretty good, like, what do we say? Completing the whole circle. Yeah, so what in Zen is called Satori is a moment of presence, a brief stepping out of the voice in your head, the thought processes, and their reflections in the body as emotions. It is the arising of inner spaciousness, where before there was the clatter of thoughts and the turmoil of emotions. So, as I was reading this last paragraph, an image popped in my head. It was like, when you are not aware of what is happening and you are in it, it's like you are in the movie, that your mind is um that your mind has created, like on the screen, on the screen in a movie theater. So there is this movie, there is this story going on in your head, and you are merged with that story. You are in it, you are hooked by that story, by that movie, and you're feeling the emotions of that character. You are feeling, you are having those similar thoughts of that character that you have associated yourself with, that this is wrong, why is this happening to her, or whatever it is. Oh, poor her, or oh, poor him, whatever it is. And what happens when you bring awareness is like, like the lights go on in that movie theater, and you recognize that, okay, I am in the seat of awareness, I'm in the seat of consciousness, and I am watching this story unfold. And it's similar to what happens inside, when we become aware of the story or the emotions that it is causing in our head. It's like we stepped out of it. We awaken to that reality, that our current reality, our own, like who we are. And we are now we have stepped outside of the story and we are just witnessing it. And then there is this inner spaciousness that the author is talking about, like the space between your chair in the movie theater and the screen on which the movie is playing. So that is what came up for me. Yeah, Caitlin says yes, full circle. Yeah, thank you for sharing that word. Exactly, we have come to a full circle from the meditation, the code that we started with, and going back to that. Caitlin says these readings have all tied in so well together too. The urgency of impulse is so strong when you lack awareness. Exactly. So I always say, and the quote, said that awareness is the key. To make any change, you first need to become aware. You first need to be mindful that I am having a thought. There is a story going on in my head. I am feeling an urge in my body. So you first need to notice, become aware of them, and then you can do anything about it. For example, the daily strategy that I mentioned, or Anything for that matter, any strategy, any tool that you have learned can only be applied once you become mindful, once you become aware of what is happening. Where is your awareness? What is happening inside you or outside you? So Caitlin said that, but if you can apply awareness and be in presence, you can take that pause and play that delay game and choose exactly and choose. This mindfulness, this awareness gives us the choice. Once we become aware of what is happening, then we have a choice on how do I want to respond. So there is this quote that perfectly fits with this word of choosing that this whole process. And this quote is by, Viktor Frankl, that between the stimulus and the response, there is a pause. And in that pause lies my freedom to choose. And Caitlin says, I had so much fun in this live. I am so happy that these, messages are resonating and you're having fun at the same time. Amazing. Okay. So, so there are like a few resources that popped in my head in relation to this reading because if you feel like you are not you are not able to catch yourself, catch these thoughts, these stories, these emotions, these urges, running your life, and you want to cultivate this presence, then I do have a lot of resources around that because I'm also a mindfulness meditation teacher. So I've created a lot of things around that. And I feel called to share them here in case, something resonates with you with what you're needing right now. So I hope that you will find what you're looking for. So, yeah, there's this course of mine which says how to live more mindfully, how to live more intentionally, more consciously, with more presence, with more awareness, rather than running, letting the old patterns run your life, letting yourself be on this autopilot mode where you are not aware of anything and you are just, you know, um, spending your time on this earth rather than just, being alive, feeling alive. So, yeah, if you want to cultivate that presence or mindfulness or awareness, whatever you want to call it, you can start with this particular course. Pav says, presence, let me live a bit more often in that pause. I came an hour late. That's all right, Pav. I'm happy to have you whenever it is that, you joined. And thank you for sharing that, how being more present in your life as you go through your life rather than moving in your life like a robot that has been programmed to do all of these different things. Allow you to have that pause and then make your choice, act intentionally. Thank you, Zainab, for this kind donation. I so appreciate your support, and I'm so happy that something from today's life resonated with you. It means a lot that it touched you in some manner. So, thank you. Caitlin says, "Oh, friends, I did this course. It was a good one. Thank you, Caitlin, for sharing that. I am glad that you find it useful. And it means a lot that you are recommending it to other people. Thank you for doing that. Um, yeah, Caitlin says, lol, like a robot. I have to slow down and do that in the kitchen. Yeah, and in the kitchen also. Just maybe start with one thing that you choose to do mindfully rather than deciding that today I will do every single thing in the kitchen with full awareness because that is not going to happen the first time and it will be frustrating. So start small. That is my always go to mantra, start small. Caitlin says, I catch myself a lot there. Okay, you are more aware there. Hmm, that is interesting. Yeah, I have also find myself, being more aware of what is going on in my inner world at certain places, especially like when I go for a walk on the terrace. I'm super aware at that time for some reason. And it is nice, to to dis to to step back from this whole stuff happening inside and connect back to who I am for those few minutes, few seconds. Okay. So yeah, that was one course that I, shared regarding being mindful. And if you don't want to be a robot, and if you want to actually, feel more alive as you go through your life, there was the second course that I had, the second resource that I had for you. And this resource has, various ways in which you can feel the awe and wonder that you used to feel as a child, and also to notice the beauty that is all around you, the peace that is accessible in this very moment. So if that is what you're looking for, to feel more alive in your life as it is, then I would recommend checking out this course. Then I says, "Ooh, I love that." Okay, then I'm looking forward to hear how you find it. Because this was the very thing that changed my life in a way, to be honest, because I realized that whatever it is that I was looking for, and I was looking for peace, that was the thing that I really, really wanted in my life because I had struggled with anxiety. So, I did a very simple practice once from a book. And it wasn't even a practice, it was just being alive in that moment. And that made me realize that no matter what I do, what I am able to achieve or not in this life, um, I would always have access to this. And when that happened, there was this a major opening in my heart and a shift in perspective. And from that day, I feel like no matter what happens, I will be okay. So I wanted to, just bring some of that through this course. Okay. Leslie says, love starts small. Exactly, because because when we get excited, when we learn about something and we are like, okay, I'm going to try this. There's this energy, this motivation, and we are like, okay, from today, I am going to do this. Then what happens is after a time, it just vanishes away. So I have noticed that starting small has worked for me every single time. And it has worked for, a lot of my clients who were stuck in that, previous thing that I mentioned. So yeah, that is my go-to mantra. And Leslie continues, there are many books, websites, media outlets which focus on organizing different aspects of life, including home, organization, etc. It seems the same thing goes for these organizing resources, which in the beginning usually say something like start small. Exactly, because our mind gets scared when we ask it to do big things. So, no matter which area of your life, which habit, which task it is about, starting small gives us the nudge to give this a try and continue if I feel, like doing that. And usually, when it is small, our mind is like, okay, I can do that. So, yeah, thank you, Leslie, for sharing that, And yeah, it is a lot of, it is a common saying because it works. It has worked for a lot of people. Okay. So, my dear ones, I guess it's time to end this live. We are nearing, the completion of 1.5 hours. And in case you guys joined late or missed the meditation or want to revisit the meditation or any reading that we did today, then you are welcome to, check this live, rewatch this live, and let me show you where you can find this live. So, where you can find it is you can go to my profile, go to the About section there, scroll all the way down, and here at the bottom, you will see something like this. So, here you will find a way to access this particular live as well as all of my previous live in this series. So, yeah, if you want to, you can check that out. And if you do not want to watch the whole video, then you can also access the summary of it by going to again the home page and scrolling all the way down and reaching at the bottom. Here, I have a group called Wonderful Beings, and here I share a summary of the live within 5 or 10 minutes of this live ending, including the type of meditation, the name of the books, and the readings that we did. So, yeah, you don't miss out on anything. So, you can catch the summary if you don't want to watch the video or do the meditation. So, yeah, I guess it's time to wrap. So, I have like two different endings for two different type of people who are here. So, for the first type who, are regular, who have stayed till the end of my previous lives and know what I'm going to say next, you are welcome to, you can say goodbye if you want to, and if you have something to do, and you can join me again on my next live, which is day after tomorrow. Yeah, which is day after tomorrow at the same time. And for the ones who are joining for the very first time or who haven't stayed till the end before, I want to share some things with you that I've created for you guys. Okay, Pav says, thank you. You're welcome back. You're welcome, Pav. It was lovely to have you here again. Caitlin says, I like to listen. Thanks so much for the space and wisdom today. Thank you, Caitlin, for being here. It is always so lovely to have you here. And I am so glad that, these past few lives have been really resonating with you. It makes me so happy. Okay, so now the ones who have joined this live, who have, given me your time, who have stayed till the end, I want to share with you three places where you can find all of my resources that I've created for you guys. And the first out of those three places is the playlist section on my teacher profile, just above that group that I shared with you on the home page. Okay, so there is this playlist section here, and you will find here all of my tracks arranged into these four playlists, so it is easier for you guys to navigate through the content. And the first playlist that you see here is actually regarding that last reading that we did. So if you guys do not have a premium of Insight Timer yet, then you can start with this particular playlist, which is a 21-day mindfulness meditation challenge. And this will help you develop this habit of meditation, and it will also help you understand what mindfulness is, how it is going to benefit you outside of that meditation room, and you will practice like the foundational practices of it. So, yeah, if you want that, if you want to start cultivating more presence into your life, you can start with this playlist. Then there are three other playlists. This one says nervous system regulation techniques. So, if you're going through a difficult time and feeling emotionally overwhelmed or dysregulated, then in that case, you can try the different techniques here, and you can choose one that helps you most, and practice that whenever you are feeling, like you cannot tolerate these emotions that are going on for you. So this will help you reduce the intensity so you can meet whatever it is that is asking for your attention within. Then there is this other playlist which says for negative thoughts and limiting beliefs. So this playlist includes like mini tracks of 3 to 4 minutes that, on the common thoughts or limiting beliefs like there is something wrong with me, I'm not good enough, what if I make the wrong decision, or I'm too broken to heal. So if you relate to any of them, you can check that particular track out here. And the final playlist that I have here is um Wheel of Wisdom Pika Meditation. So this playlist contain all the meditations that we have done in this particular series. And up and like so I'm releasing each meditation in a sequence, and all of them has been released as a free meditation so that everyone can access. So if you want to continue playing the game that we did here and continue strengthening your connection with your intuition, with your inner wisdom, then you can check out this playlist and read the rules of the game here and let the universe, you know, guide you on like what to meditate on today. So this is the first place where you can find all of my resources. The second place is the courses section. So you can go to the courses section, and here you will find all of my 7 courses. I have already mentioned, 2 courses, which was about how to be more mindful, how to live more mindfully with presence and everything, and how to find peace, beauty, and, wonder or awe right now, right here in your life. And apart from that, apart from these 2 courses, I have like, 5 other courses regarding, and I also shared this one that how to stop chasing and start living your life. So, yeah, apart from these three, I have 4 more courses. So, one is regarding accepting life as it is, especially if you're going through a difficult situation. So, if that is what you're going through, you can check out this course as it will help you, you know, accept it, process it, and move forward from it. So, and apart from these 4 courses, I have 3 courses related to negative thoughts and, limiting beliefs. So, this particular course that I have put on actually helps you know about all the unhelpful ways of thinking according to therapeutic approaches. And you can identify which one do you have and apply the techniques that I have mentioned for each one to yourself so that you are able to counter those. Zainab says, thank you, have to go. See you next time. Thank you, Zainab. It was lovely having you here. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. Looking forward to see you in the next one. Okay. Yeah, 2 more courses to go, and then we will wrap. The second course that the second last course that I have for you is to identify the limiting beliefs, basically the stories that we talked about, the quote in today's Insight Timer, web page talked about, which is, what are the stories that you're telling yourself? What is it that you believe about yourself that you are not aware of? So this course includes all the techniques that I know of to identify, to uncover those hidden beliefs that are hidden in your subconscious mind, to know what they are, where did you get them from, and then you can, with awareness, as was mentioned, awareness is the key. So once you become aware of it, you do not have to believe it because you know that you have learned it from somewhere else. So, this course is will help you identify them. And then this is the final course that I have that will help you, that will take you through a step by step process towards a more healthy way of thinking. It will help you identify, challenge, and reconstruct that whole story or that whole thought process so that you can feel more empowered and deal with your life, your challenges more effectively. So, these are all the 7 courses that I have for you guys. And this was the second place where you will find all of my resources. And if nothing resonated with you up until now, neither the playlist nor the courses, then I have one last thing where I hope you would find whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever it is that you need most at this moment of your life. And that is the About section of my profile. So, here, when you scroll all the way down, you will see something like this. So, here you will find a way if you want to talk to me personally about whatever it is that you're going through. And if you would like to gain more clarity regarding that, if you would like to, gain insight and start taking action steps towards that, then you can find a way to do that, to, work personally with me. Because, yeah, apart from being a mindfulness teacher, I'm also a life coach. So, yeah, I would be honored to walk alongside you on your journey. And here you will also find some additional gifts that I have created for you, especially since the year is coming to an end. So there is like an year end, challenge or a gift. And you will find here this particular live and the previous ones. And I think, yeah, and about my journey, so what I have gone through, what I have learned, whatever happened from, in my life. So yeah, that is the place that you can find more about me or work with me to, deal with whatever is happening in your life. So, I guess that's it for this live today. I hope that something that I shared resonated with you. And thank you so much for listening to me so patiently. Hello, Emilia. Hello, Emilia says, hello, good people. Hope you have been well, Anisha. We had a time change and I missed these lives. Oh, I missed you too. I was thinking whatever happened to you, and I am so very happy to see you here again, Emilia. And Emilia says, I will try to be more disciplined with waking up earlier. Okay, and if not, then you can always catch on the lives, but I hope that you do because I love having you in the space. And okay, I feel like doing one more reading, okay, for Emilia. Because Amelia has, really supported. It really helped me to create a lot of things for you guys. And and she has a very fun presence. Okay. So yeah, Caitlin says, woohoo, yay, Amelia. Okay. So let's see. Dear Amelia, what wants to come through for you? So, Amelia, I invite you to hold in your mind, and everyone else also hold in your mind whatever it is that you are struggling with that you would like to receive some guidance on. It can be waking up early, or it can be something else. So, yeah, bring to your mind what you would like to receive some guidance on today. Caitlin says, "This is like the surprise scene after after the credits. I knew I should stay." Uh-huh. See, your connection with your intuition has really strengthened, and you trusted it, and you are now reaping the benefits of it. Emilia says, I'm feeling special here, Caitlin. I am glad that you are. And it is interesting that today we were going to end the live early because usually we ended 15 minutes later than this time. So I guess this was supposed to happen. Okay. So I hope by now you guys have thought of something that you would like to receive some guidance on, and holding that in your mind as we spin the wheel. So, the book that came for all of us here is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. So, let's see what this beautiful book wants to offer us. And by the way, Amelia, like in the past, since the past 2, 3 lives, I actually added a lot of new books here. So now we have around 55 new books on this wheel, 55 total books, and some of the older ones. And it is interesting, like the older one came up for you today. Okay, let's see what wants to come through here. So for this one, I do not have the original book because I have read these books over a period of many years, but I have the notes from this book. So what I'm going to do is for this last book, Trust My Intuition, and how I'm going to access it is I'm going to close my eyes and, scroll through the pages of this book until I feel like this is the section where, everyone needs to hear from. Okay. So that's what we're going for with this particular book. And when I do that, hold whatever it is that you need guidance on in your mind. Okay. So the author says, when you want wisdom as much as you wanted air, when you were immersed in the water, you will receive it. Likewise, when you really have an intense desire to overcome any block in your life, and you come to a clear cut decision that there is a way out, and that is the course you wish to follow, then victory and triumph are assured. So, if you have a keen desire to free yourself from any destructive habit, you are 51% healed already. When you have a greater desire to give up the bad habit than to continue it, you will not experience too much difficulty in gaining complete freedom. So, from this reading, a technique came to my head that is, I think, a part of CBT, which is a therapeutic approach, wherein you make like these 4 columns, okay? And in the first column, you write, for example, if you are trying to change a bad habit, then you write like, benefits of changing the bad habit and list every single benefit. Okay. What is the changing this bad habit going to, help you, is going to help you feel, is going to help you do, is going to help you believe about yourself, just list every single benefit of changing that bad habit. Then on the side column, write, the cost of changing that bad habit, because you are doing it, because there are certain reasons because of which you are doing it. You are receiving some secondary benefit out of it. It can be comfort, it can be, not taking on more responsibility. It can be, there are a number of benefits that you might be gaining from not changing that bad behavior, that bad habit of yours. So list all the costs so that you become aware of all the things that might be hidden and that are holding you back from doing that thing, from changing your habit. So you will have clarity from that. And then, for the last 2 columns, give me a second to think about it. Yeah. And then you write in the in this one, benefits of not changing a bad habit. It might seem similar of cost of, the cost part, but it is different. Okay, let me write it down because it might be confusing. So there are these four columns: benefit of changing this habit, cost of changing this habit, then benefit of not changing this habit, and cost of not changing this habit. So this will give you like a more clear picture of what is happening behind the scenes. It will make you more motivated when you see the outcomes, the results that you would receive, and all the reasons why you wanted to do that. And then, you know, once you have this clarity, you can work upon the things that are holding you back, and you might feel more motivated. So you might start doing, start bringing that change in your life. And it can be, you can replace the habit part, the behavior part, with changing a particular way of thinking. So you can replace the habit part with changing this thinking, changing this way of thinking. And then you will have the same thing for a particular thought, as you have for a particular habit of behavior. So I hope that, you will find it helpful when you give this a try. And I hope that it resonated with you, Emilia. Or if it didn't, you can say that as well. But yeah, and if it resonated with anyone else, or if you needed, you know, this particular technique or this particular reading that came up, you're welcome to, share that in the comments. And if not, then that's perfectly all right as well. Matt says, thank you. You're welcome, Matt. I am glad that it resonated. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. Caitlin is sending us a lot of love and namaste. Silverback says, Anisha, have a sensational Saturday, madam. Thank you for your lovely wishes, Silverback, and I hope that you do have a wonderful weekend. Amelia says, thank you, Anisha. Waking up an hour earlier is definitely a great benefit to change. Yeah, it is interesting that, we were talking about that particular habit, and this paragraph exactly came up on changing, bad habits or cultivating healthy ones. And yeah, and I hope that if you do decide to give this a try, receive, you get a more clear picture of why you are not able to do that and why you want to, and what might be able to help you in doing that. Okay, so now a lot of lovely emojis. Thank you, Silverback, for bringing colors to the comment section. And for all the, people present here for bringing all this love to the space. Thank you so much. And I guess now it is time to really wrap this live. Okay, we have another comment. Uh, Ilanit says, good morning, Anisha. This message I arrived to was very aligned with my life and the evolution that it asked from me. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing it. And I hope that, you do take some action regarding it, even if it can be the smallest action that you can think of. So I hope that it brings that change that your life is asking for from you. And I'm sending you a lot of strength in doing so. Thank you, Silverback, for that compliment. Okay, you're welcome, Ilanet. Okay, so my dear ones, I, let me put the next live here because I hope to see each and every one of you in that live. And I thank you for your presence, for all the lovely comments, all these beautiful hearts. and I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste. Bye bye. Take care.